ver si no me van a decir lo que they just joined us. Hi, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. Let's go to Castle. Oh, is it? Okay. We'll come back. Okay, let's go. So this is involved in everything. These are all the representatives.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's what they're doing in there?
Yeah, they're voting on the bills, but it's getting a little aggressive. They're arguing too much, so that's why they told us all to leave.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
Yeah. I cannot believe they're doing it. State Senate, House of Representatives, Capitol. So, what's your opinion about Katie Hobbs?
Right now, and pretty much, I feel that she's a corporate Democrat. She's a classist and elitist. I feel that even more than a corporate Democrat, she's a technocrat. She rules by hardcore, law and order. It's not so much about supposedly the political party she's supposed to be in.
Okay. And what's your opinion about that?
Well, my opinion is today is just the latest example. Well, the bill, I believe it's 2509, something like that. The Tamale bill illustrates that in the Democratic Party we talk about equality. We talk about trying to raise the standard of living for men, women, and children in our country. That's what I love about the Democratic Party. Although I'm a former Democrat, but right now I'm an independent progressive.
Okay.
Being a proud tree hugger. Okay. But by saying that it's not safe for people to serve out of food trucks or homes is a ridiculous argument. One of these big restaurant association lobbying chains, millionaires who own these things and corporations who do not want competition from moms and pops, tamales or hamburgers, what have you, they do not want that. That is an excuse. And number two, it's basically the basic definition of classism. Because in the Democratic Party, we're supposed to have equality, but unfortunately, the ugly head of classism rears it. So let me give you an example. When they say, oh, no, it's not safe for normal people in their homes to basically be able to cook and sell that food, that is basically a roundabout way, and people disagree with me, but I strongly believe this, that poor people are not clean, that poor white people, poor brown people, poor black people are not clean. This is a classist idea, and for some people who've never experienced it, now if you've ever been around a very, very wealthy person, I know wealthy people, some of them are very nice, but others tend to look down on poor people. And I'm not for looking down on anybody, whether you're rich or poor. But Katie Hobbs vetoing this bill and saying that is the classic definition of classism, because basically she's saying poor people are not clean. Okay? That is classism. It doesn't matter. Restaurants, they sell their regulations. In this bill, you would have had to have a food handler's license. And the other thing is, I'm greatly disappointed. The Democrats have said they would override this. They would go along. It's a bipartisan bill. Instead, they caved to this governor. And you can only get by so long by hating, your opponents. You have to at least meet. I'll give you a good example of a good Democrat, in my opinion, would be Adrian Fontes, Secretary of State. He did not run away from Mark Simpson. He kicked Mark Simpson's butt on the stage in a debate. But with her, it's always evading her people, just like Kyrsten Sinema, not ever having town halls. And I remember as a Democrat being told, don't say anything bad about Kyrsten Sinema, because Kyrsten Sinema is a Democrat. Well, we see how that turned out. We got nothing. We wasted our time. We walked for her. We got signatures for her. We donated to her, and she thumbed her nose at the Democratic Party. So now they're telling us to believe Katie Hobbs. In addition, the reason I think she's a classist and a corporate Democrat is she will not stand up against qualified immunity for police. I'm sorry, and I don't hate police, by the way. There are police that give their lives, but unfortunately, by standing up to the Supreme Court decisions and a series of decisions, legal decisions, saying if police can basically kill somebody, and even if it's wrong, they can get away with it, that's called qualified immunity. In fact, let me give you an example. Breonna Taylor, God rest her soul, the African-American woman who, the no-knock warrant, they shot multiple times in, didn't warn her, murdered her. Guess what? Do you know that I just heard on the news yesterday or today that officer, that police officer, instead of going to jail or being reprimanded, guess what happened? He got fired from his police department, but guess what happened? He was hired on by another police department in Kentucky. Now,
Oh man.
you know, when so-called Democrats tell us that, you know, they're not going to say anything about it, same thing with private prisons. Private prisons are an excuse. They're part of the prison to school pipeline. For private prisons to make money, they have to sign contracts with the legislature, and the governor signs them to getting these private prisons money. For them to make money, they must get more and more people put in jail for anything. National medical health care. Governor Hobbs will not stand up for that. Why should any man, woman, or child, because of their wealth, how poor they are, not get basic medical health care? Do you know that we have double the rate of poverty in the United States as compared to Germany, France, England? This is no accident. So I get it. I know she has to rule all of Arizona, but she does have to have some morals. And the morals I'm seeing are the morals of Kyrsten Sinema, of her donors. And let me just say one thing. I was arrested across the street on January 6th as a tree-hugging progressive who donated to her campaign. I was standing outside of the fence, no trespassing. And they came out and said, you have to leave. And I said, this is a public sidewalk. This is on the public domain. Oh, no, sorry, sir. You'll have to talk to Governor Hobbs. So I got charged for trespassing. I can no longer teach. My teaching certificate was taken away. So all I have time to do now is to come to this beautiful legislature and advocate for people who might be afraid to stand up. You know, for mom and pop. You know, it might be Mike and Jennifer or Juan and Maria. Why should they be penalized? Why should they, just because they don't have $1 million and get $1 million bank loan, they can get a food handler's license according to the bill, and they can sell food. And maybe if there's no rent control, what are our young people doing right now? They have to worry. When I was your age, that's one thing I could depend on. I was like, well, I'm hardly making any money, but at least I could get cheap rent. I have a studio. Now, our young people are like, hey, they raised my rent for a one-bedroom to $1,800 or $2,000. And she doesn't, now she says she's trying to do something about homelessness, but she should be talking about rent control, and that the landlords, they come in here, I've watched them in committee hearings, basically they've passed bills so that it's almost impossible to get rent control. So we're all terrified. We're terrified that fascists will take over. We have a man who's running for president, Trump, and he's saying he's going to execute people on the same day if they're caught for drug dealing, which really, that's another way of saying, I'm going to be able to execute my political enemy in a state trial, you know? So we are, I don't want that to happen, but if we have Democratic, corporate Democrats acting like Kyrsten Sinema, now Katie Hobbs, basically voting down poor people, how do they expect to take back the legislature? Every time they almost get it back, they put up with this. And I'm greatly disappointed, I must tell you. I want to find out every Democrat who voted not to override Hobbs' veto. Because that's shame on them. And this is coming from a tree-hugging progressive. So these are just a few of the things. Oak Flat, our brothers and sisters of the First Nations, Apache Carlos tribe, they have sacred land up north by Apache, up in that area. They call it Apache Country, farther up there. But Oak Flat, a multinational mine company, corporation, had got Kyrsten Sinema and others to back it, and Democrats. So they're going to tear open their sacred land, destroy much of it, make it the world's, I guess, largest copper mine. In the end, it's going to be a deep pit. If you went to the bottom of that pit, by the time they're done, you'd have to wear a special suit. It would be so hot that they're going to dig down. And all that just so some other company can make line and destroy. They're going to destroy our beautiful brothers and sisters of the First Nations, San Carlos tribe, sacred land. So these are just a few of the things. What happened to, we have Raul Grijalva. Now, there's a good Democrat. He is standing up for Oak Flat. We have some individuals, but the key leaders like Governor Hobbs, like Mayor Kate Gallego. I have to say it because, like, right where we're located, the 5th largest city in the United States, Kate Gallego, the mayor of Phoenix, I was there covering the city council meeting.
Yeah.
She voted against the AFL-CIO. She voted against fair living wages. Kate Gallego. She also stands up for qualified immunity. the right to kill by the police. No one's here to hate the police. Hate is a very bad thing. The young people, the old hippies have taught me, you can be angry, maybe righteously. Try not to hate, you know? I'm not perfect. I get angry, but that qualified immunity thing. And then to just look at the police, it's like looking at the sailors of a ship and then declaring that the sailors of the ship are guilty for what their captain did. So the Supreme Court, right now, on the Supreme Court, we have Clarence Thomas. Okay? He's even admitted it. He's taken all this money from a billionaire. This billionaire who is connected to right-wing conservative causes. This is supposed to be the court of last resort, the final court. So they wonder why. They wonder why. Right.
Go ahead.
I'm done. I'm going to keep marching. Thank you. Nice meeting you. What's your name?
I'm Don Roscoe. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what's your name?
Lenny.
Lenny? Nice to meet you. Good. Thank you for your time.